genius. I am wonderful. I can make a difference in my life, in my family, in my town, on this earth. You keep saying that for 33 days, your dream patterns change, and guess what? Todos los problemas that you have start dissolving. You don't solve them, they start dissolving. You become a different instrument of working with your computer mind because you've eliminated and understand certain key words that kept you in a box, which is not or and but. And you're starting to trust your intuition. Anyway, so my grandmother raised me in the barrio, telling me I was a walking star, and she told me stories about my mother Lupe. Here's a picture of my mother Lupe. She's so beautiful. This when she's 15. And when tenía 40 años, when she was in her 40s, people would ask her for her autograph, assuming she was a movie star. And she had a pet deer, and she chased it up and down the mountains in La Barranca. And they lived there in a little canyon called the Rain of Gold, because gold, a meteorite had hit the earth, and they could see the gold running, water trickling down in the face of gold. And it was sold and sold. The Americans finally bought it. And my mother and her people basically was esclavos, the slaves there. And she said when the rainy season would come, all these parrots would come, and the jungle would flourish and flowers and everything, and the bullhorn would go on, and they'd go to work. And every day they did 4 miracles, the 5 miracles of the day. Getting up is one miracle. The sun coming up is another miracle. And then working with their hands and getting all the things going. So they grew up in a world that was beautiful. My mother said she never knew that they were poor. They never knew any different. And they had dirt floors. But because they walked around barefooted, and the oil of their feet, they polished the floors with their feet, and with sprinkling water, it looked like tile. Who's ever seen that? Anybody ever seen that? Okay. And anyway, then when the earth started trembling, that meant the soldiers were coming. So my mother, at 7 years old, would have to run and get her, tell her mother to get her sisters that are 12, 14, 16, hide them under the chicken manure and cover them up with manure so they wouldn't be stolen and raped. The soldiers would come in and burn the village. Because my mother was born in 1911, the revolution started in 1910. So all my mother knew was war and war and war. Soldiers would come in, it didn't matter if it was Veisas or Cajansistas, they're soldiers, and they'd come in and they'd burn the village and rape all the girls they could and hang all the young boys or force them into the army. And my mother said after a day of such horrible bloodshed, they thank God they had survived. But when the moon came up, that's the left eye of God. When the sun came up, that was the right eye of God. They went on and on and on. My father grew up further down in Mexico, los Altos de Jalisco, donde la tierra está colorada. My father had black kinky hair and moreno. He had a red-headed, blue-eyed Spanish father and chaparrita Latina mother from Oaxaca. And my father was the 19th child, born to his mother when she was 15. Out of those 19 kids, 14 lived. 3 years in the Mexican Revolution, they've all been slaughtered and killed, and they're gone. My father said that. His father started drinking, said it's the end of the world, God has forsaken us, and he fell apart and died. His mother, la chaparrita, on the other hand, said, Mañana es otro milagro de Dios, con el favor de Dios. They came down from los Altos de Jalisco, migrated to Mexico, and she never, ever, ever fell apart. My father said in those 2 years he learned the power of our species comes from the female. That any breeder fighting cocks knows, fighting cocks and fighting bulls knows, that when you finally find a good cock or a good bull, you ask who is the female, because the instinct of survival comes from the chicken that carries the eggs and then fixes the nest and takes care of that. It comes from the cow that carries the baby and then nurses it. My father said if you breed to dominant, strong, tough males, within 3 generations, you end up with turkeys. You end up with big, stupid beef cattle that don't know how to dig for water anymore. You end up with big, stupid chickens that like to fight and all that, but they don't know how to fight the hawk and take care of the family. But on the other hand, if you breed to a cunning, stuffed, strong female, generation after generation, you'll have good men que saben cómo apoyar la familia and how to take care of the family unit and be loving and wonderful. So my father told me the most important thing I could do as a man was to learn how to choose the right woman to breed with, well, to marry first. And all this my father told me before 5 years old. And then just the day before I started kindergarten, ¿qué me dice mi papá to further support my education? He said, I want you to know that everybody loves Mexico. The blacks and the whites, they come to the bar and eat some enchiladas, drink a couple of tequilas, try to sing with the mariachi. Everybody loves it. So I start school. First day, you know, thinking everybody loves me. Mexican girl to marry, you know. And then those hablan inglés, they all speak English, and I don't speak any English, only Spanish. So I get real, Mama, no, no, you gotta go. No, Mama, I don't want to go. No, you gotta go. Come on. So they put me in the back with the black kids and the Mexican kids in front of all the white kids. And I'm crying. God says, para de llorar, ya es grande. And stop crying, you're already big. No, I'm not big. Oh my God. Ten vergüenza, no seas tan llorón. Have some pride, don't be such a crybaby. I don't have any pride, oh my God. And then the teacher yells real loud, no Spanish, English only. And I get real scared and go, beep, 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 beep. And she yelled real loud, no, not till recess. Well, I understand. So I tried not to beat me, but I'm scared. I start beating. And you know when you're scared, you can beat me a lot. Runs a puddle by my right foot, and then I guess the girl next to me, the pretty Mexican girl, can smell it because she goes. She sees the puddle, and she looks at me with disgust when asco, and I start crying. And then I run out here and go to the bathroom at recess, and I take off my pants and my underwear, put the underwear in the toilet, flush the toilet overflows. I run out of there pulling up my pants, and I'm running, and all the guys are gone, all the vatos are gone. All I see is gringo kids all talking English, and black kids speaking English. There's spot the vatos, they're way over there in the corner, so I guess, you know, technically we've started a gang. And I said, ¿qué vamos a hacer? And I said, yo no sé, aquí nos tratan como pendejos. Now, pendejos is a very technical word in Spanish. It's a scientific word. It means stupid. It's not a bad word. It's a scientific word that means, when you use it right, it really fits. So then the playground teacher comes running over and says, you already told, no Spanish, English only. I get scared and start going beep, 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 beep. And the guy shut up. And I'm wondering, he said, no me estés gritando, tú eres mi madre. She said, I said no Spanish. Grabs him and starts shaking. He still doesn't get it. Déjame ir, no tienes derecho. You don't, like, over, you don't have the right to grab it. She says, I said no Spanish. Grabs him by the hair, starts slapping him and slapping him. They told her some really good Spanish. He said, vieja, beep, 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 beep. She slapped him till he was a bloody mess. When my mother picked me up at the end of that day, who do you think I didn't like and trust? Who? My mom. I didn't trust my mom because she left me. And who did I think was a damn fool? My dad, because he told me everybody loved Mexico. Within a week, my beautiful mother was ugly. Within a week, my intelligent father told me a great story. I thought was a liar and stupid. Within a week, I lost my culture, not just my lenguaje. English only gives an open license to ridicule and abuse all other cultures and languages and mispronounce our names on purpose. English only is going to destroy this country. It's already destroyed. It's going to destroy the planet. We need to all have 2 and 3 languages so we can have a little compassion and understanding. And then understand that the words of Europe, the, or, and but, keep us in a prison. Anyway,